What's up, y'all? You kicking it with the Junkyard Dog on junkyarddogs.com. My name is Tony, for those of you who don't know. So check it out. Fuel system is in. So I'm at a stage now where I got new brackets. And if you guys remember quite a few episodes back, I was struggling with the pulley bracket being straight. I kind of didn't follow the golden rule of like measure twice, cut once. I just got to drilling holes and just doing whatever. And it turned out that the pulley bracket for the Superchargers was sitting in the cavity crooked. All right, so I have another chance at it because I have not one but two brackets for the alternator, and I have two brackets for the power steering pump assembly. So I'm gonna attempt again to line it up straight and then cut it and drill it and tap it and all that other good stuff, because I really jacked up the first time. So what I'm gonna do is measure from the current bracket and get it straight from the current mounting point on the power steering bracket. And I'm gonna show you right now what I mean. All right, so what I'm gonna do, see, I took the bracket off here. I went ahead and cleaned this up a little bit because it was all jagged from the cutting. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and use these mount points here and mount it right here on the power steering pulley, idler pulley bracket right here. But these holes here were not in a good position. So I'm trying to decide on whether or not to go from these or to go from these, okay? Because these would bring it forward a little bit, and then I'd have to machine the block, which is a lot easier, but I just wanted to kind of make sure, because I think if I remember correctly, these weren't even straight up and down, so that's why I'm not using them this time. But this is a good position for them, so I'm going to go with this. I'm going to take out this bolt for the bracket because you can't get to it once I mount this pulley bracket, and I'm going to use these two bolts right here, that one and that one, to hold it on. I already disconnected the Y block, and then I'll take that bolt out. Let's go. This is my little tool that I'm setting up to find make sure that this area here is level where it's most important. So what I did was held it in place while I inched it, like had these loose, and then when I got it to be flat, then I tightened them. And these holes were completely off, which is real strange. See? So what I'm gonna do, I got another, please excuse the mess, guys. I'm going through like a phase here where I'm trying to take everything apart and put it and clean up the shop. But anyway, this is another power steering idler pulley bracket. I'm just gonna clean up a bit and wipe off the grease and everything, and modify it by cutting off this part of the tower here, just like I did the other one, and flattening this area right here so that it can take the bracket. And then I'll put this one in and mark the holes on this piece and drill them. But like I said, last time I did it real quick. All I did was I drilled it right there on the car, which was not a good idea because I couldn't get them straight, you know. So with this particular setup right now, I already marked a hole right here to drill and drill out. So what I'm going to do is drill that hole, then put the bolt through and kind of semi-tighten it, and then use that instead of these clamps to hold it a little bit in place while I work it to get the top bolt. Once these two bolts are in, I'm very confident that I can get the proper placement of these bolts this time, and get this thing straight from the jump. After that, we are going to kind of shape it a little bit, and then also there's going to be a bracket that comes from here that goes to there, and then one goes from down here under here. Kind of want to cut it to where it's like a, you know, like an A almost, kind of like the shape of the Supercharger, just bam, bam. All right, so this is the cap. I'm gonna use this to cut out the cavity. So I'm actually gonna cut it to shape and then have Sean weld it in and then machine out the area for it to bolt on. So taking a chance here, but let's go. All right, so here we have the cavity. It's been fitted. I love the flap disc, man. It just allows me to get that perfect fitment. Boom. It's right in there. As you can see, it's flush at the front and flush at the back. So this is actually going to be cut out because you see, if I weld this now, there's no way for me to bolt it down. You know what I mean? Other than me putting my hand through the hole in the supercharger opening, which I could do too. You know what? That might be something, an idea to visit. Just seeing how much I can reach in there. Because the thing is, I kind of want to do it from the top for two reasons. One, if there's a gasket here, it gives somewhere for it to blow out, and not like in case something backfires or whatever, it doesn't crack the intake over time. You know, it's like, oh, this gasket fails because of the pressure, then I could just change the gasket and keep going, versus like a weld failing. This is aluminum, it could go south really quick. So yeah, there it is. Boom. So now I'm going to move on. I got the upper bracket up and straight. Now the goal here is to connect this bracket to the front part of the supercharger, just to kind of give it that final strength point, so the superchargers don't like lean forward, if you understand what I mean. Like they're gonna want to like tilt forward. So I'm gonna have this plate here somehow attached to this and then cut off the edges of this so that it kind of seamlessly goes into this. If I was thinking when I first designed this, I would have made these plates come all the way out and then meet up with this. You know what I mean? So, which I probably should have did before I had it welded. It is what it is. We're at that stage now. It's already welded in, and they're welded in good. I mean, it would literally have to be like me cutting it all apart again to do it. But that would have been an amazing point to keep it straight. This keeps it anchored down here, and then up here it'd be like a nice area for it to come out and kind of rest on. And then drill maybe two bolt holes there, and boom, bolt right to it. Now we have this pulley set up flat this way, but it's not flat this way, right? Now here's where the thought process that I had came in. So these superchargers have to be stopped from pulling downwards, because they're going to want to pull downwards towards the crank. So I'm going to put a triangular gusset under here, from going from here to that. So once it pushes down, it'll push this down into the bracket more, which is attached to the head. So I'm hoping that will keep these superchargers in place with the gussets that are under here and the gusset that I'm going to put to this front plate. So we're going to tie all that in together. So that plate, even though I was getting like chewed out by all these guys, like those 4 bolts are gonna hold, I ain't gonna hold that plate or whatever. Be patient and remember that I don't just think of one thing or do one thing at a time. You know, I'm doing multiple things at once. Also, too, that'll give me the opportunity to finally trim this off the way that I want it, because I want it to look a little bit more skeleton, like a little bit less, a big old square chunk of aluminum. It looks awful. I'm in the prototyping stage, guys. So what I was working with is these LS coils here. Okay. So I'll be wiring these in using MS3 Pro instead of using a distributor. I'm using the cam sensor, which I don't know if you can kind of see it down there. See, it's right there by the fuel lines. So I'm thinking to mount these right here. Okay. Why am I using LS coils? Because they're cheap and they're good and they're going to get the job done. Give me a nice hot spark. And it's a more modern style of system than one I'm using on my car right now, which is a distributor, which I think I got to change. So tomorrow we're working on gussets, and then we're working on mounting the coils. Gussets and coils. Oh, and then do the rest of the planning for the cap there, because I got to plan that out. I can't just say, hey, yeah, weld it in. Also, too, down here where the upper intake meets the lower intake, I have to machine a cavity. And the reason why that is because as it stands right now, might be a lot of stress on those bolts, and we kind of want to not have the bolts have to work so hard. So make a cavity for where this will slightly sink into that to keep it in place, and the bolts will only have to do clamping force and no side forces, no like that. So bolts are for clamping, and side forces on bolts are usually not a good thing. So we don't have a lot of bolts in there. We only have 6 holding this whole freaking big thing down, even though it will be attached here as well to the front to keep it from rocking around. Because at first I was gonna put something on the back here to hold it to the back of the head, but that proved to be unnecessary since we're working this system here at the front. All right, so yeah, also contemplating about removing these valve covers because this one's got the oil cap on it, and I had some I got from the swap meet, and these ones have no oil cap on them, so I was thinking about doing that. And since they're off, I already drilled them and tapped them for the crank to release crank case pressure, which would be dope to do as well. So yeah, I got some pretty cool stuff going on for the next couple of days, and yeah, that's about it for right now. All right, so there you have it. We are on day 7 of 7 Days of Mayhem. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll still be posting videos pretty often after this, just because we have so much more extra time nowadays, being that we're not at work and all the other good stuff. And I'm really excited because the mystery of like the wiring and all that kind of stuff. I like to, people say, oh, I hate wiring. I like puzzles. When I was growing up, I liked messing with puzzles. So this is kind of like a puzzle to me. So I'm like having a blast doing this. Like, it's real fun. So the wiring, shout out to Steve, man. Yo, this dude, Steve, when I tell you that he's been helping me out, I mean, this car wouldn't be as far as it is without his help, and I really appreciate it. Peace to everybody who's been on junkyarddogs.com. I really appreciate it. And for those who are asking questions about where do I ship worldwide. Worldwide. I've shipped stuff to Germany. I've shipped stuff to Japan. If you need it, I got it. I'll put it in a box and send it to you. No problem. As long as you pay for the shipping. All right? So until next time, y'all, we out here junkyard dogging. Woo!